So about 2 years ago, I started noticing a pattern in my life that every time I hit a goal that I thought would change everything, it always felt like flat or incomplete. You know, whether it's losing weight or making more money or getting the bigger house, like the feeling I thought or hoped would arrive, it never showed up. And it took me over 20 years to realize what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes. And if you truly understand what I'm about to go over, I promise you it will save you decades of pain and suffering and frustration, because we all do the same thing. We envision a different life in the future that is so much better than the one we're currently living, because in this future vision we have more money, or we have a great job, or we finished school, or we got this sexy person to actually date us somehow, right? And we create this story that once we achieve whatever that thing is, then we'll finally be happy. But behind every one of our surface level goals in life is a quiet underlying truth that we're actually after. When you say I want to do this or get that or achieve whatever, just know that you're actually trying to accomplish something much different. Something that most people, and myself included, remain oblivious to for so long. And for me, I chased after a bunch of different things, but money was definitely like the biggest motivator because it's the thing I had the least amount of. You know, I grew up poor, and in early adulthood, I tried so hard to break free from that like shitty life I had that I over leveraged myself into bankruptcy at 19 years of age. Like, yeah, I was financially ruined before I could legally drink. And why? Because I wanted to have the things I never had growing up, to try to fix my life, if you would. I figured if I had the nice apartment and the nice car, if I could get more money or get the girlfriend, then I could finally be happy in life and stop feeling so damn stuck, you know? So I kept going after it. I was obsessed for over a decade to make money somehow, but business failure after failure, and then it just never came. But finally, after tons of effort, I started to get some traction, right? I started to hit some of those goals that I had set. And while my life was objectively better than when I started, I still felt like something was missing. Like I didn't feel happy all of a sudden. So I just moved all of the goalposts further down the road, thinking that the answer must be more. And after a while of chasing after the finish line that never comes, I realized why I never felt completed or happy after achieving those goals. And it's because they were never the things I was actually after. Under the surface, I wanted to prove everyone wrong about what they thought about me from my childhood. That I wasn't some weird kid from that broken, embarrassing family, right? With the mentally ill father. That I wasn't dumb, that I wasn't ugly. I wanted to prove that I was enough. And when I realized that, right, everything started to make sense. Because I mean, like, think about it. If my surface level goal is to make $1 million, right? But underneath that, the real truth is I just want to feel like I'm important enough and that I matter and that I have some security in life. Then when I achieve the goal of making $1 million, if it didn't also make me feel like I matter, then of course I feel incomplete because I never actually achieved the real thing I was after, right? I never felt like I was enough. I only achieved this surface level goal. So now you might be thinking, all right, well, let's just say that's true. Then what's the fix? And this is where it gets kind of gross, but hang in with me, because the fix for me was to stop looking outside of myself for the answers to how I feel inside. I hate saying this because it's like borderline woo feeling, but it's just the truth, man. Like the answers were inside of me all along. You need to find those moments in your life where those belief systems were instilled in you. At some point or multiple points, something led to you feeling like you weren't enough, in my case, right? I need to figure out what that was so I could address that belief system head on. You need to heal from the traumatic experiences you had earlier in life, and it sucks. And again, it sounds gross, and it's like the last thing I wanted to work on. So I get it if you want to click off the video, but like, please hear me on this because it's the truth, man. I am blown away with how consistently this is the real issue underneath almost everyone I've worked with, like from a coaching perspective. Like seriously, the surface level issues or the things that they're working on, right? That changes between clients. But when you trace it back, right? It almost always comes back to some core belief system that was drilled into them earlier in life or in some sort of traumatic experience they had, right? And by the way, like trauma can look different for different people. Like I used to say, like my shitty childhood wasn't too bad compared to others. Like who am I to bitch? But it doesn't change the fact that it still changes how your brain's wired. Like it's gonna change how you think. It's gonna change how you operate in your everyday life. So it's important to understand these things. Like let me give you an example for a client that I was working with who they wanted to change careers, okay? They didn't know what they wanted to do. They just knew that being an accountant, which is what he was at the time, wasn't working. He was making really good money, had his master's degree, did all this stuff, but he just felt a strong desire that he wanted to do something something else. So we did some work and we kind of brainstormed and kind of went through all these different exercises and came up with the ideas that he wanted to become like a pilot or a cop or a firefighter, FBI agent, like all these action-oriented type of roles. So we kept working, and eventually during a session, we ended up tracing back his why all the way back to when he was a young man in the Marine Corps. You see, his entire child life, like his childhood, he wanted to be a Marine. His entire life, he knew who he was meant to be, right? So he joined at like 17 years of age, you know, really early. And he got deployed to the Middle East, where he was struck by an IED and he nearly died. He almost lost both of his legs and was healing for a very long time. And guess what? As a broken man, the military could no longer use him, so they medically discharged him. Now I want you to imagine that. Just like that, his plans, everything, his identity, everything he wanted was ripped away from him. And now, later in life, he's trying to still heal from the emotional damage of that experience. So the truth was that, yeah, maybe a new job would have been good for a while, but underneath of that goal, right, there's a part of him that needs to heal from that experience still. And that needs to happen so that he can let go and step fully into who he is today. And I can go on and on about men I've worked with, again, all different backgrounds, all different life, like surface goals, surface issues, different things. And they all have these childhood events or early experiences that shaped who they are, and they were never aware of it, like not fully. And that's why they felt stuck, because the real thing they needed to work on was underneath. And listen, I wish this was as easy as some positive affirmations in the morning or some meditation, but honestly, I think the real way to set yourself up for success is to realize that this whole life thing is a mindset game, right? It's being able to separate yourself from the distractions of modern life long enough to turn inward and get real uncomfortable and start figuring out where you need to heal before you can grow. But I tell you this, if you do that, if you learn to start from within, then everything else becomes easier in life. Like, you become so much more aware of what's driving your actions, the shitty habits you have, right? There's a good chance they are very likely a tool that's just being used by a part of you to distract you from some sort of internal feeling or belief that you have. It is all connected, man. Yeah, you, my friend, are a badass. You just might not know it yet. So turn inward, get messy, and find it out for yourself. Hey, if you liked that video, then check this one out about brain rot. I think you'll like it. It kind of ties into the distractions that are likely holding you back from turning inward. Thanks, and I'll catch you on the next one.